Industries and stuff. My electric car.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's my Godzilla proposal.
Are you calling it to,
So I'm gonna call the urban, so I'll get it started and do roll call. And we'll do the vice chair, and you'll take over once this is done, then you take over.
okay,
Budget committee.
okay.
I'm ready. Everybody else ready?
No,
Rock and roll?
One thing I'm gonna, when you need anything, I got this one. Good to see you. And then started going. If that's okay with you guys.
Yeah.
oh yeah, okay. So don't just roll right into the next one, is that what
Give me
you're
a
saying?
second and I'll come
Yeah.
up, do this, and then we'll start the
Okay.
new one.
Okay.
Hello, everybody, and thanks for coming to the Urban Renewal Agency Budget Committee agenda, May 19th, 2026. Will everybody rise to pledge allegiance, please?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, I'm gonna do a little housekeeping. We'll do some roll call. Nick Smith, Mayor, here. Alonzo Castillo, Council President. Here, sir. Stacy Holt.
Here.
Councilor Clark Kent.
Here.
Councilor Mark Kramer. Councilor Joan Morris.
Here.
Councilor Dukes.
Here.
Ex-Mayor Dave Strand.
Here.
Robert Jackson. Okay.
And
Joshua Johnson.
present.
And live today. Good for you.
Yes, live today.
Thank you for the Starlink. Shelley Clark.
Here.
And Debbie Yee.
Here.
All right, we're missing Derek.
I'm right here.
He's right
Oh,
here.
there you are. We're missing Robert Jackson, sorry. Wrong one. Before we move on to electing chair and vice chair, I do want to thank you, sir, for your many years on the budget committee. I know that you're moving or have moved.
No,
Me?
Yeah, that's how you were moving.
it might be the other guy.
Is it him? I may have gotten the wrong information, I apologize. I had an email that somebody was moving and leaving.
Curtis.
Oh,
Jim?
thank you.
Sorry, Mayor. Yeah, that was actually Robert Jackson. I
Okay.
forgot. Yeah, Robert Jackson moved to Springfield.
Okay. That makes more sense. Well, I want to thank him for his time. Trying to be.
You're welcome.
Keep up the good work. All right, well, we'll move on from there. And we need to, I'm taking nominations for a chair and a vice chair of the Urban Renewal Agency Budget Committee. Have any nominations for a chair? Councilor Holt?
If you accept, I would like to nominate Mark Kramer.
Excellent. Have any other nominations for chair? All right. All those in favor of Mr. Mark Kramer as our chair, please raise your hands. All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. Now accepting a motion for a vice chair.
I think that you would have him come and do the
Does he want to do vice
motion for
chair?
the vice now, right?
It doesn't say.
Okay. Doesn't matter, I
I'll
guess.
make it.
I'll nominate for vice.
Okay.
How about Derek Isaacson?
Perfect. Any other nominations? All those in favor, please raise your hand. All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. All right, Mark, this one's yours.
Thank you, sir.
You want him to sit here? I can switch. Okay.
Next, we're going to go over the meeting minutes from last time. Did everybody get a chance to look at those? Can we have a motion to approve the budget for 2026, 2020.
No,
The meeting, sorry.
That one.
Sorry about that. Oh, yes. Move to approve the budget meeting minutes from last time. I'm looking for somebody to approve,
You make the motion?
to make the motion.
I can do that. Okay. I move that we approve the meeting minutes from the May 6, 2025 Budget Committee meeting.
All right, can we get a second?
A second.
Wait, point of order.
Uh-oh.
We're approving the wrong item. We need to be approving the Urban Renewal Agency
Budget committee.
minutes from last year.
Should be second page, number 3.
Second page.
Is that correct? Am I right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
from May 21st, 2025.
Thank you.
All right, so let's start this one over then. My fault, my apologies. Look to find a motion to pass or to approve the minutes from May 21st, 2025. Look for a motion to approve that. All right.
I motion that we approve the Urban Renewal Budget Committee meeting minutes from May 21st, 2025, as presented.
Thanks. We got a second? Mayor Smith? Seconds. All right, all in favor? All right, it's new minutes. Okay. Now we're gonna go over the receive public comment on the proposed budget. See if there's any public comment.
I haven't received any, Counselor Green.
No public comment that's received. Let's move on to the next one. That's going to receive the budget message.
Thank you, Chair Kramer. Budget Committee members, in your packet, you should have a copy of the Crestville Urban Renewal Agency budget for fiscal year 26-27. And you should have had a chance to read through the budget message. I am just going to hit it real quick. This year's budget is just another year of collecting tax increment, but we're also moving forward with some engineering to get a proposed roadway through the TJs and the Super 8. So on the very last page is the actual financial. It's a one-page budget. We're proposing $160,000 worth of contracting to be done, rather engineering. That'll include surveying and all the works that go on with that to build a roadway between those two properties and take us into the Bald Knot property. With that, we also have to borrow some money. That's how urban renewal works. We borrow money, we pay it back with the tax increment that comes with urban renewal. All right, are there any councils? All right, I'm sorry. Are there any questions from the committee?
All right, Councilor Holt.
I'm curious if I may have missed it, that is the project that we're doing there this? What is the blue on here? Like, we're on this map on page 5, and it's outlining the urban renewal parcels. How are those defined?
I did the pink.
That's an excellent question, Councilor Holt. They're defined in the plan itself. I just include a very brief excerpt from that plan, but we do have the plan document. Those are the tax lots, they're included in the plan area.
Okay.
You can only have so much, I forget the percentage, to be honest with you, but only a percentage of your properties can be in an urban renewal district. So we had to be, so when it was planned out, it was very careful.
So for the engineering, is it only for the road or does it expand beyond just the road?
It's gonna be the roadway, the sewer and the water lines that also go under there. So it's gonna be the utilities as well,
But just for the road there?
just for the roadway.
Okay, okay.
Any questions? Joshua?
One question I do have regarding the $160,000 loan proceed there. Specifically the $160,000, what specifically is that going to be for this proposal?
It's to do the engineering work. So the way the urban renewal works is you have to actually borrow money first and pay it back with tax proceeds. You don't have to necessarily hold that debt for as long as possible. There's even agencies that do a day loan, what they call a de jure loan. But it is part of the process. You have to borrow the money and then spend it on the capital project.
Sure. So specifically about the engineering portions of it, so
Yeah,
you had mentioned that it was going to be more than just the road and that there were going to be other utilities included in there.
Yeah.
Considering it was also going to be water and sewer as well, is that right?
Yeah, the $160,000 is for final engineer drawings of the road. That would include the infrastructure, storm, utilities, really showing where those are going. So we would get a full design set at the end of that. That's what that $160,000 is going towards.
Okay, and the sewer specifically, we have a number of different potential options of what we're going to be doing with, overhauling our sewer in general, right? Is this going to be future-proof for potential plans of connection elsewhere? Or is
Yes.
this going to be like just managing existing?
So it'll
requirements?
probably look at if we get into more specifics, I'll have Cliff come up here, but it'll probably look at a trunk line and then where laterals make sense to come in at certain points. And that's where, looking at the road alignment, how those parcels may line up and where it makes sense to make connections.
Okay, so that's all factored into this $160,000?
Yes, and during that design process, that'll be an iterative process with staff where we would take a look at, typically it goes like 30% drawings, 60% drawings, and then 90% drawings.
Okay. Thank you. No further questions.
Casey?
I'm just curious, when I look at the description and the details on number 7 on page 7, if the may require a small private pump station unless the developer chooses to import fill to raise the grade, that gravity might not work. When you look at the map and you see all that blue, that kind of mimics FEMA and the flood map overlay, and though it may never happen in our lifetime, it's kind of leading us to believe FEMA wants that to be underwater. So is the 160, it's engineering only, but is there going to be added cost to accommodate for that or to acknowledge that? I'm just curious.
I can't answer the question if there's going to be added cost at this point. The need for a pump station and how all that will work will probably be revealed during the engineering process.
Okay.
So at the end of that engineering process, is a opinion of probable cost included in that?
Yes.
So we would get what's called an opinion of probable cost, where we would get the estimate for what construction would be for that road. And that may or may not include the pump station. That's what this process will reveal.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Councilor John?
Does the timing of this improvement have anything to do, stop it, with the proposed convenience store and restaurant kind of in the back there?
No, it has nothing to do with the timing of that.
It's just time.
Yeah, it's just time. With the urban renewal, we have a set number of years, so if we get into a project that requires considerable construction, we want to have enough time to pay down the debt service. I believe this was a 30-year plan, and we're getting into 6 years, 7 years, I believe 8 years now.
All right, any further questions? No further questions?
I do have,
Counselor Holt.
I just, did the $160,000, is that a quote? Did we get a quote for that?
That's from our engineer of records, and it's a firm bid.
It's a what?
It's a firm bid number. It's not a quote.
Oh, it's a bid? Okay, it's a lot. Did we like go out and bid to other, like, did other people submit bids, or did we not do that?
We don't have to do that with our engineer of record, because we went out for an RFP for our engineer, so we don't have to go do individual bids for each project.
How long is the vote?
Okay.
Any further questions? No further questions. We're going to propose a motion to approve 2026-2027 budget. Can we get a approval for that? Stram.
I move that we approve the Crestwell Urban Renewal Agency budget for 2026-2027.
Can I get a second?
Second that.
Can we get a second after that? For Robert? No. Derek Isaacson. Okay, next. Oh, sorry, if we could get, sorry, I gotta get a vote, onto, if we got a, all right. On the amendment, can we get an approval? How many hands for yay for approval vote? The motion to approve. All right, all those in no, raise your hands. Passes unanimously. Thank you. So the next one is a motion to approve taxes for 2026 and 2027. Yes, Sharon.
I move that we approve the collection of the maximum amount of funds from Division of Taxes under Section 1C, Article 9 of the Oregon Constitution in accordance with the approved Crestwell Urban Renewal Agency plan and as provided in ORS 457.420, parentheses 1, to be certified by the tax assessor.
Can I get a second? Councilor Casilla.
And second.
All right, since all that, it's been approved.
All those in favor?
All those in favor? All those not in favor? Okay, passes unanimously. All right, so with that, we're gonna adjourn.
It's not easy.
My opinion is we're doing a disservice to our constituents by not giving it the votes.
I appreciate this.
I agree. It's probably not the best way to do it, but
I'm ready. Is everybody ready? Ready? All right, welcome to the May 19th, 2026 Budget Committee meeting. Should I take a quick roll call even though we just took one? Should I, for the record? Okay, let's take a quick roll call. Mayor Nick Smith.
Here.
Alonzo Castilla.
Here.
I'm here. Clark Kent.
Here.
Mark Kremer.
Present.
Joan Morris.
Here.
Helen Dukes.
Here.
Dave Strand.
Here.
Derek Isaacson.
Here.
Joshua Johnson.
Present.
Shelley Clark.
Here.
And Debbie Yee.
Here.
Thank you very much. Get that out of the way. So is there any public comment? Have we received any public comment? Anything online?
You haven't received anything online, Jim?
No.
Nothing online. The things that we received, we included in your packet. Those were the questions from the different committee members.
Okay, with no further public comment, we'll move on to the public hearing. Is this an official public hearing?
Yes, you have to hold
So
official.
for a minute?
Per minute, yes.
Okay, so, yep, we're gonna go ahead and hold that public hearing for the next minute, starting now.
Chair Holt, I believe you have, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe you have to read the script for number 3. It's in
Oh, you
italics.
do?
Yeah.
My apologies, let's start that over. The City of Creswell will conduct a public hearing on the possible uses of state revenue starting funds in the fiscal year 2026 through 2027 budget. These funds are proposed to be used for work on a comprehensive plan update and community contributions for nonprofit emergency needs, all appropriated in the general fund. And the public hearing will start now. All right, that wraps up our public hearing, and we will move on to item number 4, which is discussion of the proposed 2026 through 2027 budget. Vincent.
So included in your packet were the questions and then the answers that staff provided to those questions from the committee members. That question and answer sheet has been made available to the public as well. So at this point, staff is really seeking, is there any clarification that's needed in addition to what was provided in your packet?
Joshua.
I did ask a number of questions, and I did not see those listed on here. Was that intentional?
The questions that were in the meeting itself, I didn't put in here. These were just questions that were asked after that meeting.
Understood.
Yeah, I could add them if the committee would so like to have those out to the public, though.
Yeah. So I believe those questions were answered at the meeting and as part of the public record. If we're mistaken, we can add something. The question and answer was specifically for questions that came in after our first meeting, in between the first meeting and today. That counts as you and committee members, as you read the information more, if you had additional questions for us.
Understood.
But yeah, all those question and answers that you provided are part of the public record already.
Okay, so there was about the transaction fees?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I did read through that email as I was preparing for this meeting yesterday, and I was like, oh, yeah, that's right, I gotta follow up with Josh. Joshua on the transaction fees. And so, just so the rest of the committee knows, the answer to that question was the city spends or is charged $35,726.82 in the last complete fiscal year. That's the fiscal year 2025. That was on 1.7 million in revenue. So it's about 2%, which is kind of what we expected year over year. What we were doing with the street fund now having some transaction fees is that we realized that since we have the TUF, and the TUF is getting paid through credit cards as well because the utility bills are getting paid through, we weren't assessing any of that to the road fund, the street fund, who's receiving the revenue. So for this year's budget, we estimated about 2% transaction fees for those TUF revenues. If that clarifies things. Excellent question, by the way.
My only follow-up would be, is it possible after this, if we could see a rundown of other competitors to see what those costs look like?
Absolutely, this is ongoing. I just got a cold call today from a merchant service company, so it'll be ongoing. We are also going through a transition with our ERP, our software provider, who interfaces with our current credit card provider, and so there's going to be some changes coming anyway. So it's like perfect timing.
That's excellent, thank you. No further questions.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I have a question. On page 56, when it's talking about the 13 acres that were annexed in, were there related fees to that annexing that were paid by the property owner? Looks like they're elevating the ground too, maybe for the sewer connection hookup, all that.
Yeah, that'd be a follow-up question for our city planner. I'm not sure. Yeah, I do know that once they develop, they will be paying system development charges as part of developing in the city. So.
Okay. So have they submitted a plan for that, or is it because I just see it's annexed? Have they submitted a plan for that development?
No, is what I'm hearing. So typically the annex goes first, the annexation goes first, and then we might get a development plan after some period of time. And it's my understanding that we have not received any development plan at this point.
So I just asked that question, I'm just thinking about the sewer hookups and the density of that project, and if that kind of research has been done and in their proposal where there's...
Well, we have about 38, I believe, hookups available at this point.
Okay.
How those are may or may not be reserved, I don't have that information, but we allocated some for commercial development and residential development, and I believe it's on a first come, first served basis.
Cliff just reminded me that at least part of that is the Nathan Marple property, so that's going to be handled on the east side.
Any other questions? Mayor?
I have a comment just on the credit card fees. I think 2% is a pretty good price, knowing that I deal with merchant services all the time. 2% is a pretty good rate, so especially for the 1.2, 1.7 million, 35,000, that's not bad. So I appreciate the effort.
I have one myself. I had asked you this question about the line items for, I can't remember what it's called now,
Community contributions and
yes,
programs.
thank you, there
Yes.
it is. And thank you for giving that response to me. I'm curious though, because what I noticed was like the community contributions, that number grows every year. Are we like inflating that?
They'd asked to increase it to $1,000 a year at some point.
Who?
The Creswell First had asked the council, previous council. This year it's not increasing. I couldn't see increasing it with all the other things that we have going on. So this year it's remained at 24,000.
Did the council vote on that at that time?
They didn't. It was just more of a, this is what we'd like.
Right. Just with all the, stuff going on with Second Street, with the $70 million that our constituents are facing for sewer, I think it's important that we kind of freeze that. So it's good to hear that it hasn't increased this year. Did the utilities to the Crestwell Area Historical Society, do we do this every year?
We have been doing this for decades, is what I'm understanding. It's been something that is kind of an agreement between prior administrations.
A handshake agreement or a written agreement?
It's now a written agreement. When Spencer Neville was here, he made sure to get it in writing, so that at least we had something to back it up.
So we obligated ourselves to it?
Yes, it was already an obligation that we've been carrying on for years.
I would love to see the document that, it never came across our desk, so I would love to see that.
Yeah, sure.
It's not that I don't love giving money away. I mean, like, I love being able to help our community. I just think that we have to be really good keepers of our pocketbook for a while. That's all. And so we have a lot of expenses we're facing, and we're gonna end up with more homeless people if we keep shoving costs down their throat. And that's just where I'm at. So any dollar we can save. And to that point, I also think that it might be just, I don't know if this is the appropriate venue for this, but I would love to consider the option of not having stipends for council. You know, it's like $13,000 a year that we could be putting to better causes. And so I don't know if this is the venue to do that. I don't know if I could make a motion to cancel them right here and now. I really don't know how that works, but.
So it may be where we can delve into the numbers at a work session.
Okay.
And go over it, bring the information about those stipends, you guys talk about it, and then you can give staff a direction as to what resolution you may want. Excuse me, it may be reducing those as an option when we look at the numbers. It may be a full-out cancellation, that's totally up to you guys, but I think being able to see those numbers and talk about it might be a benefit too.
Okay, that's fair. I think that's fair. I would love to, you know, I think putting as much as we can. We have a very lean budget, first of all, I want to say. Excellent job, both of you. Excellent job. Fantastic budget. I mean, it's hard to look at this budget and have any issues with it. I really appreciate that. We can ask for a better budget to come before us. I'm just trying to think of creative ways to help get us to our goals. And that's just something that's really weighed on me for several years. Why do we have this? I get the, you know, well, not everybody has internet, et cetera, except I think we're rolling into an era where that's not true anymore. So I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I would love to talk about that at a work session.
So we can, excuse me, I think our June work session is pretty light. So we can take care of that.
That's the right time.
And then if you want, then we can bring back July or over the summer.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Mine gets donated to Crystal.
That's all I have. Does anybody else have questions? Yep, anything. Go ahead, Debbie.
I have a question on the Garden Lake master plan for the CIP for the 75,000. What are the specifics of that? I know prior times we've discussed 25,000 for design or something. And
the $25,000 was for a bridge that was removed from the budget. The $75,000, we're looking at a potential grant for $80,000. Of that, we might need $32,000. We're also working with DEQ to do a larger environmental study. If we receive grants for that, we don't yet know what our matching, or if we would have a matching requirement. So we are submitting the $80,000 grant. The deadline's June 15th. So that's probably going to come for a resolution to the council in an upcoming meeting. So that $75,000 at this point, we believe we'll need a portion of that. So it's kind of a placeholder for the council. So it's approved, and if the council decides to move forward, it's approved. If they don't, then it would probably come out of it would be removed in next year's budget.
okay, awesome.
Why the DEQ? What study are they doing?
So when this was brought to council months ago, the driver was the lake quality and trying to see how that can be improved and if water recreation may be available. That's a long permitting process if we go through that with a number of state agencies. It's, rather than coming up with a plan and handing it to them, we decided to really reach out to them and say, this is what we're thinking of doing. Would we be eligible for grants? And if so, how could we craft the project to better align with receiving those grants? So a meeting's being set up with myself, DEQ representatives, Division of State Lands, I believe Army Corps of Engineer, and I forget the other state agencies. ODF&W, thank you. So it's really a scoping that what we would like to do is improve the water quality, which is going to most likely look at dredging, reconfiguring those lakes. I believe the western turtle pond is out there, so we have to do some habitat restoration. Then there may be a possibility, if we're pulling in the circumference, if you will, or the size of those lakes, that area is left, may be open for wetland mitigation, where that lake area could become a mitigation bank, where we would receive money to give people credit to restore that area. So that's all what, and DEQ is kind of the umbrella, the umbrella organization of that whole process of permitting.
So how much anticipated cost to our constituents do you think this might bring on over time? Because, you know, this is an awful big project to take on when we have so many other priority things that need to happen.
It's probably at least a year or so of just trying to see if we're eligible for grants or scoping, right? So maybe a year or just about a year before we start a design process. Design process could be another year. Then we would get, again, opinion of cost of what it would be. I would look at this as not a one-year project. I would look at this as a multi-year, 10-year project. So those costs, one, would be deferred over a number of years to lessen the impact on the constituents. And the council, when presented that, can say, well, we like this, let's do this, or we're going to hold off on recreation improvements until that's done. So what we're trying to do is provide the council with like a full menu of, to improve this area, which the driver is the water quality first, this is what it would take. And this is how long and how many phases we can put in and defer those costs out. So to answer your question specifically, don't know yet.
I could add on to that too. This is not going to be property tax funded. This is system development charges funded. So this is developers building new homes in the city. They're paying into this.
So we won't develop a new fee like the TUF fee. We won't. This is all going to be SDC funded.
That's where it's budgeted.
Some seed money might be out of the general fund. What was that, 70,000 out of SDCs?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's all coming out of SDCs initially, then we're hoping to match those use the SDCs to match the grants. So right now we're exploring the best way to reduce any impact on the constituents and looking at what we have to spend out of SDCs and then how to leverage that for grants. And that's where the partnership with the state agency comes into play.
And my last question, are you mitigating those meetings with the DEQ so they don't come at us for something they find along the way?
It's always good to bring in people in the scoping session. So I've worked with DEQ and DSL in a number of situations, and proactive approach for any state agency seems to be the best approach, because then they're at the table when you're trying to solve the problem, as opposed to discovering the problem by themselves and then presenting that to us.
Well, I get that. I'm just afraid they're going to find another problem they want to pick on us about. I have very little trust. So.
Yeah. Well, what I can say is so far the conversations have gone really well.
That's great to hear.
I just want to comment, part of this, with the dredging of the pond, the potentials and SECs and all that, correct me if I'm wrong, but haven't we discussed that in doing the roadway to Mazama that we're budgeting for and working on the Garden Lake Park for the mitigation bank, a lot of this will help Crestwell develop Bald Knob area as well. Like if we're talking apartments, industrial, commercial, manufacturing, residential, that area is a lot of acres and has the potential for all those options. So in doing so, I don't know that we spoke about it, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this is an ancillary benefit as we move forward, if we continue to move forward with Garden Lake Park and with Mazama, that's allowing us, putting in the infrastructure to go ahead and build Crestwall out that way. So there is potential for apartments and more commercial, more manufacturing, more importantly.
You're correct. We're trying to set the table as best we can in the time that we have during the moratorium. So as things start easing up or we get more credit from DEQ to have more connections, we're poised with a lot of the planning and engineering and a lot of this work behind us. So the moratorium in a way is a benefit to us because it's giving us time to do that table setting for exactly, putting Crestwell in a good position for development and for increased tax roll.
Good. I want to make sure everybody that's known and it's on camera and on microphone because I don't think we got there, and I think that is an important piece of the puzzle that we haven't really focused on. So thank you.
So is this helping the Bob Knob property as well? And is he involved in this? And
I really should just stand
is he
here.
involved in this planning?
We reached out to him. There's a nexus between this property and Garden Lake. And he has already approval to fill in the ponds that are on his. That will have a impact, unknown at this point, but potentially reducing the water flow into the lakes that have a pretty low water flow already. So we're discussing, so we know of each other's plans, but to use the word help is, I think, is generous.
Okay. Fair. Any other questions? Ms. Eve?
Engineering question.
Yeah, don't sit down.
Is the Garden Lake Park master plan then, is that why the letter appeared in the last couple of days on the city's website asking for encouragement and support and giving a form letter for people to write?
That's for the
So that
grant.
you can show that to DEQ or the grant?
Yes,
or
yes.
to show interest in it?
Yes. Typically having public support, the resolution by the council as part of that submission for the grant really emboldens the grant positioning.
Strengthens it,
Yeah.
okay, great.
Any other questions? Well, with that said, I'm entertaining a motion.
Oh,
You have more questions?
I have one question.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Sorry. I have to find my spot. I have a question regarding the airport and the $150,000 that the city's paying from the general fund. I did get an email from a citizen just asking about it, and I guess thinking that it was self-sustaining, which I know it's not, because we've been at the meetings and I know the necessity of it, and I know the great things that we're in a position to be one of only 3 in the state or whatever that are the hubs that Shelley has worked so hard on. But I was just curious, is that you kind of see it go up and down from the general fund? I know we're bringing in the Stoll, which is awesome. Is that going to be diminishing? Is that, I'm just curious because I know we have a lot of grants and funding, so.
Yeah, so we're going to, at a future work session, because we've been asked this question before, and we're looking at how best to have the airport hit that sustainability. From where it is now to where it started is a tremendous improvement, and a lot of credit goes to Shelley. That 150 is part salary, but part of that money is also used for grants. So that raised the question internally of whatever, I don't have the top of my head, of that portion of that 150 that's used for grants, how much money is generated from that? So that could be part of the puzzle. We're also looking at the number of FTE at the airport is 1.5. What's a comparable FTE for an airport of that size in other municipalities? Because we want to be able to present the full, I guess, picture. So when we have a conversation about, okay, if it's 5 years, 10 years, and that's our goal to have that airport, let's say, self-sustained, what does that look like? And the real question, will we ever be able to get there? You know, and if not, then what would that delta be, and what are the reasonings for it? So we're in an interesting position because we've received so many grants, millions and millions of dollars from the FAA. We can't sell the airport. It would be, I think, 100 million in payback. So what we want to do is put a realistic plan together that can get us as close to possible that sustaining effort. Our using general fund dollars is not in violation of any state law. A lot of conversation has happened out in the community about that, but the general fund is unrestricted. And we use that, again, to cover salaries and also position us for grants that help that airport improve. So the events like Stoll, other things we're doing, are a way to bring more exposure to the airport so we get more users there, because that helps increase costs and ancillary costs.
I understand the value of the asset. I just wondered, because you see the trend, so that's all.
Any other questions, Joshua?
Yeah, the comment on that when I was just tallying it up, just so it could be mentioned, since you didn't have the numbers readily available. The amount of grants proposed for 2026, 2027 for the airport is 1.38 million off of a cost of 150,000.
Yeah, and it's not the full 150, because a portion is out of the salary, and we wanted to go back a number of years and then also look what's in the queue to be able to say, yeah, there is a certain support from general fund, and we want to diminish that as much as we can. But there's other aspects to what that 150 drives.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? All right, with that, I will this time entertain a motion. Mayor Smith?
I can't believe I'm gonna do it. You know, it's the first time. I move to approve the budget for the city of Creswell for the 2026-2027 fiscal year as presented.
Do I have a second? I have lots of seconds. I don't know who's came first, so I'll go with Debbie. She's right by me. And with that said, is there any other discussion? Okay, so let's take a vote. All those in favor of approving the budget, please raise your hands. All those opposed, please raise your hand. Budget passes unanimously. And with that said,
I do want to acknowledge, if I could just step in this for a second, the efforts of Jim and the late nights he's put in, the collaboration of department heads for this budget. The discussion internally was, even if it saves us 500, even if it does this, and they really took it to heart, and their efforts should be just called out because they've done an incredible job. I want to thank all of you for the hours you went through looking at numbers and stuff and the questions and holding us accountable for making sure we're meeting our responsibility of the fiduciary responsibility to the citizens. So thank you.
thank you for the clean budget.
Excellent.
Excellent job. And with that said, we are now adjourned.
Oh, no.
Oh, wait, I apologize.
One more item, we have
What'd I do?
to approve the taxes.
Yeah. the tax.
I'm sorry. Yeah, no, I won't. I have no intention of doing so, sir. All right, I am sorry, but we actually have to vote on something else, and I'm entertaining a motion.
I move that to approve the taxes for the 2026-27 fiscal year at the rate of $2.67.05 per 1,000 assessed value for the operating purposes in the general fund to be certified by the tax assessor.
Do I have a second?
A second?
Joan? Any discussion? Commissioner, or, sorry, Abbott.
Just a comment, I think it's still amazing that Crestwell has one of the lowest property taxes. It's always interesting when I get my property tax bill every November and I look at where my tax dollars go, that Crestwell gets a pittance of my total taxes. When I consider the school districts, Lane County, fire, library, goes on and on. And what I get in return for those dollars I pay to Crestwell. And I'm amazed, and then I'm further amazed. Again, congratulations to Jim and all the staff and the council, that we were hearing a lot about school budgets and city budgets in our area. And yet, the Crestwell budget, we're gonna pass it unanimously, we already did. And so I'm just so proud of everybody who's doing that work.
I second that comment.
Maybe we can spend our extra money on the fire levy.
Agitator.
Had to get my plug in, it's not 8 o'clock yet.
All right, any other discussion? All right, let's take that vote. And all those in favor, please raise your hand. All those opposed, please raise your hand. Motion passes unanimously. And with that said, we're really gonna adjourn now. If I actually swing that, no, I'll put a hole in there.
Something else to add to the next meeting?
I went down there. No, I'm gonna run. I mean, I can't run technically, but one of my friends is actually, I probably heard the other one.
We're still live.
Hi, guys. One of my friends is